Hey, Dr. Carpenter here. So we talked the other day about COVID and how in Chattanooga, where my practice is, where most of my patients are, we are seeing some record numbers of new cases. We're kind of in a surge. And we talked about a few things about, how do you make smart decisions? How do you kind of plan ahead? How do you do things to protect yourself? And so today in this video, I want to take just a few minutes and talk to you about 6 different things that I want to recommend that you do just to help you not get this thing, right? So if you're working with me, you're already working on really rebuilding your health and be, thriving. And you may have heard me say that sick people or healthy people don't get sick, right? So healthy people don't get sick. How do we become healthy people? These days it's kind of hard because we're exposed to so many chemicals. The quality of our food's really pretty bad. There's just so much stress. There are a lot of things in our environment that we don't necessarily have absolute control over that really kind of deplete us. And so, working on rebuilding your health is a great endeavor. And right now, it's more important than ever because how healthy you are is going to help you be immune to this really crazy illness. It's definitely not like the flu. For most people, it's pretty rough. Some people, it's not that big of a deal, but for a lot of people, even younger people, it's tough. I've heard people who've had it, younger people who just like, this is not something to take lightly. So we want to be smart. We want to have a plan. We want to understand what we're doing. And then we want to kind of just relax about it because we're making smart choices. We're doing what we can. That's all we can do. But we're decreasing our odds. You've heard me say it's a numbers game. So we're going to decrease our odds. So let's talk about how do you do that, right? So the first thing I'm going to say is diet. Eat really good food, whole foods, lots of vegetables, organic when you can, high quality meat. And this is the really important part, low sugar. Don't eat a lot of sugar. It's tempting to be home and just cook a lot of stuff, bake a lot of things, eat a lot of desserts. Sugar is really going to deplete your immune system. So low sugar is the main thing I want to say for the first of our 6 prevention steps. The second one, I want to encourage you to get outside. Get outside in the sun, get your bare feet in the grass, be on the ground. When you do this, you are literally like plugging into a battery and you are getting more energy. It's called grounding or earthing. When you've got your feet, your bare feet on the ground, you are getting energy from the earth, and we need energy to heal, and it'll help us fight things off if we have enough energy to do it. So plug into the battery, get outside, get some sun, get your feet on the earth. That's the second thing. Now, the third thing, plan ahead, right? Talk with anyone you live with, right? It's two of us in my house. So we've discussed, all right, what happens if I get it? What happens if Christy gets it? We're going to quarantine one of us, figure out how we're going to do it. How do you get food? What happens if both of us get sick, right? So go ahead and think through these things, because once somebody starts to feel kind of bad, you don't have a lot of time. You really need to figure out what you're doing. So one suggestion, if there's 2 of you and you share a bedroom, maybe the healthy one stays in the bedroom with the closet and the normal bathroom, because they're going to have to be up, maybe having to go to work, going to get grocery, cooking all the food. You kind of want them to have their normal routine. Put the sick person maybe in a guest bedroom, hopefully a separate bathroom for them, if that makes sense. In our case, if I'm the one who's sick, it actually doesn't make sense for me to go somewhere else. So I'll be in the master bedroom. Figure out what makes sense for your living situation, but just think through it ahead of time. Discuss it so you know what to do, okay? The next thing, so the fourth thing, you don't have to do this if you're like young, healthy, but you can, but especially if you're one of the people who has some of the risk factors, heart problems, lung problems, diabetes, overweight, 60 and over, I want you to think about getting one of these, right? It's called a pulse oximeter, a pulse ox. And all you do is you put it on a finger and you turn it on, and it's going to read your oxygen levels. okay? So normal is considered to be 95 to 100. In my world, I like it to be 98 to 100 because, in functional medicine, we're going for optimal and not just, hey, you're not sick. So mine's 98 right now. This is something that if you're sick and you start getting, it's hard to breathe, short of breath, it may be a sign that your oxygen's going lower. And oxygen is one of your main two sources of fuel. You have to have oxygen to do well. And so if you hit 93 or below, that's when I want you to seek help. Check with your urgent care, check with your primary care doctor. Maybe you go in if you're starting to have low oxygen rates. So that's a good kind of gauge for you at home to know when you need to go and when you're okay to stay home. These are $35 to $40. The one that I use is called Zacurate. All right, I'll put a link for this in the email. But Amazon, Target, drugstores probably should have them, and could be a good thing to have. The only caution I have is don't get obsessive. If you're getting sick, it's easy to be in fear and get scared. Do not go crazy with this. It's just a smart thing to help you kind of know if you should go in or not, okay? Now, 2 more things to go for prevention. This next one, the 5th one, is some supplements. I'm going to give you 4. There is more than this. If you have one you love and you swear by, that's fine. But I'm going to give you 4 that I like. And there's just some research behind this being effective at helping to kill SARS-type viruses, corona-type viruses, which is different from an influenza virus, okay? So number 1 is vitamin D. We know that people who have higher vitamin D levels do better. Now, there's an asterisk here. Higher levels, vitamin D turns up the ACE2 receptors, and that is how this virus gets into your cells and infects you. And so I don't necessarily want you to take massive doses of vitamin D. If you're a patient of mine, we've done your blood work, you know your vitamin D status. If you're like 32 and below, for sure, 5,000 units a day of D, maybe a little bit more, because I want to get you to at least 32. Typically, we shoot for 50 to 60, but 32 seems to be kind of the magic number with the coronavirus, all right? So if you're below that, don't worry about taking more D. If you're above that, don't take a ton, right? I might be taking like 2,000 units a day right now. So if you're higher, if you're 50 or 60, maybe you go down a little bit on how much you take, 1,000, 2,000 units a day. The next item, the second one, is zinc. Zinc is really good at stopping this virus from replicating, so it's a smart thing to be taking. You don't need to take a ton. Everyone's a little bit different, but somewhere between, say, 15 and 50 milligrams a day, all right? The form, there are a lot of different forms out there. The only 2 that I'm going to say don't use, zinc carnosine, that's more for gut healing, and then zinc oxide, just not a great form, okay? Any other zinc form should be okay for this purpose. The third thing, elderberry extract, right, could become as a syrup or a capsule or a lozenge. Somewhere between 700 and 1,000 milligrams a day of the elderberry is a good thing to have your immune system on and doing well. All right. The 4th thing is melatonin. And if you're like, well, wait, that's just for sleep. It is, but we have research that's showing that melatonin actually seems to decrease some of the really big inflammatory markers that we're seeing causing problems with breathing and that the ARDS, the respiratory distress that comes with this virus. And so melatonin could be a great thing to use in this case. It has anti-inflammatory effects, and it doesn't take much. 0.3 milligrams is all you need based on these studies to get the effects I'm talking about. I would take it 2 to 4 hours before bed. Normally, you take it a little closer to bed. But for what we're talking about here, temporarily during this kind of threat, 0.3 milligrams, if you can find it, it's kind of hard to find that low, 0.5 is okay. Don't take much. Don't take it forever. But right now, as preventative, it's not a bad one. The only caution I have for you is if you have severe hypertension, high blood pressure, don't take this one. Okay? So those are the 4 pretty good supplements. There are more, like I said, but these are 4 really strong candidates. And maybe you don't take all 4, maybe you pick 2 or 3, but do something. So vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and melatonin. Now, if you are a patient of mine, if you work with me, we use FullScript as our online dispensary. You're going to be able to get these from FullScript. Just go in and do a search for them. Often these things, because they're so popular right now, they're often back ordered. And the ones that I would normally recommend, maybe you can't get them. And just do a search, find another option that still sort of fits the descriptions I just gave you, right? Not zinc carnosine, not zinc oxide, but another form would be fine. I gave you kind of some ranges of doses that you would want to take. Get what you can, okay? And one more tip for you guys who work with me that you're on FullScript. If you go to the catalog, on that page, you're going to see 3 boxes across the top. And one of them says categories. If you click on it, it's going to expand that, and it's going to say healthy human recommended categories. I've actually gone in and created these categories, and I put some of my favorite supplements in those categories. There's one towards the bottom that says virus prevention. I've put some options of a lot of the things we just talked about in that folder. So you can open that and see ones that I've used and I know that are good ideas for you. So you have to search everywhere. But if they're back ordered, don't give up. Just search in the main catalog, find another option. Okay? So those are 5 things for prevention so far. Now we've got one more. I want to talk about kind of what I do. If I'm going to go out, I'm here at work. If I've got to go to the grocery store, if I'm going to be out for some reason, there are 2 things that I do on top of everything else we just discussed that I want you to consider and want you to do. One of them is I use an essential oil blend, right? It's typically called Thieves, and it's a really cool story behind it. In 1413, the bubonic plague, there were some thieves in France who would go around to all of the dead bodies, people who had died from the plague, and they would rob them, but they didn't get sick. And they said their secret was using this blend of essential oils, okay? Now, you'll see some different recipes. They'll vary a little bit, but on the whole, the blend is going to have 5 things in it: clove, lemon, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary. You may see a little variation on that. You may see orange instead of lemon, something like that. But this blend is really good at helping to keep you from getting sick, okay? The thing you have to know, you want to get organic. Whatever brand you get organic. There is one on FullScript, but right now it's on back order. Okay, you'll see it in my virus prevention folder, but keep checking back because they'll get it back in stock at some point. So get organic. And the second thing is, this is what's known as a hot oil. If you put a hot oil straight on your skin, it burns. So if you get just the actual essential oil, straight up essential oil, you need to put a carrier oil on your skin wherever you're going to put it. Something like coconut oil, olive oil, almond oil first, and then you can put a little bit of the Thieves on it, and it won't burn you. Another option is you buy one that's already diluted. It already has the carrier oil in it. So I'm going to show you the one that I have. I got this honestly just from Amazon because I couldn't find this anywhere else that I would normally get. This brand, this one's called Protector. So the names may vary a little bit. You'll see like immune, protection, protect, thieves, robbers. Those are all kind of variations on the idea. You'll see this one is organic, right? And it already has the carrier oil in it, so it's safe. It's got a little roller ball. And so what I will do is earlobes, right? Put it on the earlobes, temples, all right? And then you can put it like on the bottom of your big toe. So before you go out, if you wear a mask, you can put it like right under your nose or on your mask. So before you go out, wear this. I like the way it smells. Hopefully you will too. But if it protected robbers, from the bubonic plague. Hopefully it's going to protect us from this pandemic. That's before I go. The second thing I do is when I get home, I take a dose of this, right? So Agricept, if you've worked with me, you've heard me talk about it all the time, because to me, this is like the duct tape of supplements. This is an antimicrobial, it is antiviral, it has saved me from many different kinds of infections, the flu, that kind of thing. So I take it preventatively. If I've been out, I just put 5 drops in a little bit of water and I shoot that. And I'm hoping that if I've gotten any viruses kind of in my passageways, that's where it starts, that I'm going to be able to kill them right there on the spot before they get a chance to grow and really take root and I don't get sick. So it's something you can definitely do if you get sick. And I'll talk more about that. I'm going to do another video for you guys. That's okay. What if you get sick? Because I have some things I want to suggest and recommend, things for you to know ahead of time. So I'll do another video for that. But for now, I wanted to talk about prevention. And so these are 6 things that you can do just to prevent it, right? So your diet and low sugar, getting outside, grounding, getting your feet on the earth so you get more energy to fight with. You're going to plan ahead. You're going to know what are you going to do if you get sick, where are you going to stay, where are you going to get food from. If you've got kids, think about what do you do with kids. Can they go stay with someone? You may get a pulse oximeter so you can monitor your breathing and your oxygen levels, and you'll know if you need to go in and get some help. We talked about 4 supplements of many that you could consider doing to help prevent you from getting it. And if you do get it, these things will help it not be as severe. It'll help you not get some of the lung complications. And we talked about using the thieves and the Agricept before you go out, after you go out, just to prevent you from getting sick. So what I'm hoping is that, having talked about this, you've got these ideas, you've got this plan in place, you're not going to be as worried, right? Stress, worry, and the fear and the stress takes down your immune system too. So I really want you just to feel comfortable that, hey, I can't make my risk 0, but I know these things will help me and I'm doing what I can. And from there, you just trust, you let it go, you trust that whatever happens, you're going to be okay. All right. So I hope that helps. If you need anything, if I can help in any way, just contact the office and look for the next video where I talk about what do you do if you do get sick. Okay. But don't get sick. All right. See you guys later. Take care.